Hello everyone, I hope this video finds you well. Binnix here, coming at you with something a little bit more different as compared to my other videos. Today I really want to show you my love and appreciation for one of my all-time favorite video game franchises, Resident Evil. Why? Well, with the announcement of Resident Evil 4 set to come out in the spring of 2023, I got inspired to make a series of videos reviewing every game that features this main character, Leon S. Kennedy. Well, almost every game. I will not be including Resident Evil Gaiden, any of the Chronicles games on the Wii, and any other spin-offs in the series that features Leon. For this series in particular, I will be focusing on the original Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 4, and yes, Resident Evil 6. So with that all said, let's get right into this review, I don't know what kind of view to call it. We're just going to dive into the lore of the original Resident Evil 2 game. The date is September 28th, 1998. Rookie officer Leon S. Kennedy is on his way to his first shift as a police officer of Raccoon City. Before his night could get started, he finds a seemingly dead body in the middle of the road. During Leon's investigation, he is suddenly surrounded by a mob of zombies. Not wasting any time on using dialogue, Leon springs into action, shooting his unarmed pursuers.
What's up with that guy? That was a clean hit.
Backed into the alley, Leon runs into Claire Redfield.
Wait! Don't shoot!
Get down! Claire!
Leon!
I'm okay. Head to the station. I'll meet you there.
Okay!
Separated by the chaotic and fiery explosion, Leon and Claire agree to meet up at the police station. From here, the game begins. We start with Leon being surrounded by a swarm of zombies. With careful maneuvering using speedrunning tactics, I was mostly able to avoid enemies and make my way into the gun store in the beginning of the game. Here, Leon is confronted by our first NPC, gun store owner Robert Kendo. Robert, realizing that Leon is not one of the infected zombies that has been terrorizing Raccoon City, is relieved to see another survivor.
Sorry about that.
Yeah?
I thought you were one of them.
But before they could get comfortable, Robert is first to go, with zombies bursting through the windows, eating him alive. I'm gonna get that shotgun in a moment. Back on the streets with some more calculated maneuvering, I felt like there was a piece of content missing. Wasn't there a Brad Vickers supposed to be here? Or am I crazy? Anyways, I make it to the iconic RPD station. All the doors are locked except for the one that leads to the west office where Leon runs into Marvin Branagh, a fellow police officer who was bitten by an infected zombie. Marvin gets Leon up to speed of the situation, telling him to go search and rescue the remaining survivors. Marvin points a gun in Leon's face. Leon then says,
Fine, but I'm coming back for you. Just hold on.
Now the nightmarish journey begins. Before we get started, I just wanted to state this is my first playthrough of the original Resident Evil 2. The only knowledge I have of this game is from walkthroughs from 2008 and speedruns that you see on Twitch. And I can probably make reference from the original to the remake, which I spent a lot of time on, so I might know what I'm doing for the most part. We make our way through the southwestern doorway. Upon entering the room, we are greeted with a nice jump scare by some strange creature that walks on walls. I'm over here. Oh my lord! Licking season. In the next room, you see a body with no head, as well as blood dripping from the ceiling. That's odd. Cue in the cutscene of the first liquor encounter in the series. How'd the cord get cut?
Oh boy.
Oh boy. The Licker is an interesting enemy. Having the ability to crawl on walls, extremely agile, as well as being stronger than standard enemies, and taking more ammunition to put down. This would be a crazy thing to throw at the player in the beginning of the game, right? Well, nothing too difficult to get around. The Licker can only locate you if you sprint near it or touching it. With careful planning and maneuvering, you can get past these enemies with ease. Just make sure not to get hit by their powerful jump attack. The first hour and a half I spent playing this game was a lot tougher than I imagined. The enemy count is high, ammo conservation is more important than I initially thought, inventory space is crucial, and the amount of handgun rounds to take out a single zombie is between 4 to 6 shots, give or take. I know it sounds like I'm complaining, but I'm not. This is an excellent way to challenge the player to use supplies wisely, as well as what they should use in a particular situation. For example, I went into one of the diamond key locked doors and was greeted by 6 or 7 zombies. I get jumped due to my high IQ play of running into a crowd and spam search for items. I barely escape, but at the cost of heals, and then I shortly realize I no longer have any ammo. I try to maneuver around enemies to a safe room, but one licker later and this run was stumped.
No!
I died. I actually died. Running through on a previous saved file, I decided to use the shotgun I got from the beginning of the game to clear out the high density of enemies in rooms for looting and ease of passage if I find myself going through that room multiple times. Continuing with Leon's journey with various keys and puzzles, I finally reached the parking garage. Here, this is where I meet a mysterious character.
Sorry about that. When I saw the uniform, I thought you were another zombie.
We come across Ada Wong. As we know, she is a secret agent working for an agency looking to obtain the G-Virus. But here, all Leon knows is that this lady shot at him and she's looking for her boyfriend John, who is an employee of Umbrella. The two have a quick dialogue, she takes off.
Ada, wait!
As we follow her through the parking lot into the jail, she disappears. She does this all the time. We come across a man behind bars. Meet Ben, a reporter who may know what is actually going on inside Raccoon City.
Ben, you told the city officials that you knew something about what's been going on, didn't you? What did you tell them?
But he isn't budging or giving out any information. So after a quick back and forth, he tells Leon and Ada how to get out of the city by going through the kennel and through a sewer system, which is my least favorite section of the game. We'll talk more about why later.
There's a kennel in the back of the building. Inside the kennel is a manhole. Go through and it'll lead you to the sewer entrance, but it won't be easy.
All right, I'm going.
See ya later. At the end of this pathway to the sewer, we run into our first obstacle, a door that requires chess pieces to open. Thankfully, throughout my exploration of the RPD station, I already found the first 3 pieces, so we're already 3/4 of the way there. Now this is where we're introduced to a cool feature in the game, and that's playing as Ada. Although it's only for 3 minutes, it's still a really cool feature nonetheless. This will be later visited again in the sewer section of the game. Ada finds Leon the MacGuffin club key and some shotgun ammo. From here, the two split up again. We're back to playing as Leon, and nothing like splitting up. With the club key, I take it to the areas of the police station that were not previously accessible. Here I was able to get a key card, which allowed me to obtain the hip pack for extra inventory space, and I was able to get the boss bullying weapon, the Magnum. Making our way to the top back into the police station, we do a very simple furnace fire puzzle to obtain a gear which goes to the clock tower on the 3rd floor of the police station. We get to the said 3rd floor, fit the gear where it needs to go. Here we grab the last chest piece out of the wall. A very convenient laundry chute leads us all the way down to the parking garage area. This is it. We're about to place the last piece and get to the sewers. Oh. But then...
No! Get away!
Oh, yo. You shot a low... Let me not finish that sentence. TOS. A scream is heard in the jail cells. Who other than Ben? We run over to where his cell was and find him sitting on the outside covered in blood. This is where Ben reveals to us what he knows.
Bitter irony. The chief of police, a co-conspirator.
Oh man.
Get that scum. Make him pay.
During this interaction, Ben is split in half like the scene out of The Thing. Yo! Why'd that look crazier? He died a different way in a remake. Ada appears for a second, then runs off again. Nothing new. It's time to head to the sewers. Right when Leon enters the room with the chess piece door, he encounters the first major BOW. What is a BOW? Well, Resident Evil fans will know what the acronym stands for. A BOW is a bioorganic weapon. They are genetically altered organisms created with the intent of either being used as military and paramilitary weapons, or were created to further research into military and paramilitary weapons. TLDR, the amalgamation of gross, fleshy monsters that you take out in order to progress through the game. Now this boss battle was one of the most difficult ones I've experienced in this game. Something about little critters that move around too quickly to track and leeching onto you to stunlock you so the big monster can get a free hit doesn't sit well with me. Especially if you're trying to take shots at the main enemy, which in this case, the boss is called G-Type Adult. With the boss defeated, Leon takes his last chess piece, adds it to the piece holder. Now we enter my least favorite part of the game, the sewers. Remember when I said this was my least favorite section of the game? Well, there's a good reason why I hate it so much. It's not the possibility of being poisoned, or the enemies, or the exploring of the area. For me, it felt like it's a very boring bridging point to the end of the game. Does this ruin the game or my experience? Absolutely not. To be quite honest, any game with a sewer section tends to be my least favorite. Whether it be Resident Evil, a FromSoft title, or a AAA title. I just hate sewer sections, and I'm very biased against them. Anyways, getting back to Leon's journey. Running through the early parts of the sewer pathway, Ada drops down from the earth in front of us. Leon and Ada decide to pair up again to continue finding a way out of the sewer. Eventually, Ada is shot at by an unknown assailant. Leon, doing his best, "Get down, Mr. President!" takes the bullet for Ada. The assailant then escapes. Leon then passes out, and Ada goes on ahead to pursue the unknown attacker. We play as Ada again, this time navigating through the sewer on our own. We climb through giant industrial fan systems infested with roaches, then we climb through onto the other side, onto a platform. A cutscene takes place. This is where Ada is confronted by the shooter, Annette Birkin.
Identify yourself.
Who is Annette Birkin? She is a virologist employed by Umbrella and one of the administrators of their Nest facility in the outskirts of Raccoon City. She was the wife of fellow administrator Dr. William Birkin and mother of Sherry Birkin. So yes, she is the wife of the monster that is going around terrorizing the police department.
This way.
It's sheer perfection. My precious G-Virus. No one will ever take you away from me.
There he is.
So you finally come.
Doctor, we're here to collect the G-Virus sample.
Sorry, but I won't just hand over my life's work.
Stop. You might hit the sample. That's it, all right. Okay, let's move out.
William. Oh, my. Hold on, darling. I'm taking care of that bullet wound first. Stay here.
Alpha team, have you retrieved the sample yet?
Affirmative. We'll be at the rendezvous point in 1 minute.
Roger.
Are you telling me that he injected the G-Virus into his own body?
The G-Virus has the ability to revitalize cellular functions.
What was that? Something's wrong. Let's check it out. Over there! Shoot! Eat this, you freak! I'm stopping it! What is this thing? Hurry! What is this thing? Fire! Fire! You son of a...
After some quick lore, Ada and Annette start fighting over the firearm.
Oh.
Ada then smacks Annette off the platform into the trash pit. Ada jumps down, and that's when we go back to our main character. Leon wakes up, still injured from his bullet wound. Leon makes his way through the sewer system, greeted by spiders and zombies. Entering a wide and long hallway, Leon spots Ada through a door leading to the garbage dump. Leon, who tries to advance to go help his new acquaintance, is attacked suddenly by a giant sewer gator, a terrifyingly remarkable sight. After playing a little game of run away and hit the gas tank so it eats it and you can shoot it, Leon shoots the gas tank and blows up the alligator in an incredible spectacle for its time. Okay, I'll admit, that was a cool moment in the sewer section. Leon gets to Ada. She then patches up our guy.
That's 2 I owe you.
This line will come in handy in Leon B scenario. The two continue their way through the sewer until they come across a suspended rail cab. Leon activates the cab. The two then head out into the unknown. Suddenly, a monster's claw breaks through into the cab, attacking our duo. A few bullets along with the help of some key indicators, the monster is fended off for now. The two arrive at some sort of facility. Making their way through a couple of hallways filled with zombies, they come across another cab, this time a bit beefier. Activating this, the platform begins to descend, again taking the two into the unknown. Then all of a sudden, the claw is back, this time knocking out Ada for the count.
Ada! Ada!
Dude.
Can you hear me?
Dude.
Come on, snap out of it!
Leon exits the cab and is met with the even more transformed William Birkin. After unloading a few shotgun shells, the monster is seemingly defeated.
Oh my god. He on X game mode.
Leon, back on the cab, is met with a barely conscious Ada. After the elevator reaches the ground floor, Leon exits the platform with Ada in his arms, bringing them to a safe room. It appears that they have gotten inside Umbrella's secret lab. After the two exchange dialogue, Ada passes out, and it's up to Leon to find a way out of this place, once and for all. This is it, the final stretch. Leon starts off in the central area leading to an east-west in the previous rest area. We make our way to the east section into a cold storage room, where we find a small fuse case which will be powerful enough to restore the power in the lab facility. From there, Leon enters the western part of the lab. Going into the dorm rooms where the scientists were staying before being killed by what seems to be some strange vines blocking an entryway into the vent, we raid some lockers and find the flamethrower, which helps us take out these vines. Going through the ventilation system onto the other side, we find a new variant of liquors called Evolved Liquors. According to the Resident Evil 2 wiki, we can approach these enemies the same way, but they appear to have longer attack range with their claws and tongue. We go to the shutter just outside so we can open it and progress. Here we are met by a new enemy. They're called Ivy. They're just giant plant creatures that can do some damage if they get a hold of you. Now, They're pretty easy in this scenario, but there's a different variant in the B scenario that we'll cover later in the video. Using the flamethrower, we roast these plants with ease.
You dead?
Leon descends further down the western portion of the laboratory, meeting some of the evolved lickers, a full room of zombies, and a giant moth.
What in the world?
Yes, they just threw this one out of nowhere. Thankfully, we just doused it with some fire, and that was all she wrote. Oh yeah, did I mention we got the weapon attachment for the boss killing magnum in this section? Well, now it's super boss killing weapon. You can get this by using the weapon box key found when you light the flare next to the first cab you get off of with Ada. Anyways, the purpose of the ground floor in the western laboratory is to get a key card which will give you access to the Type M room in the eastern laboratory.
No more key card.
The room is filled with zombies, so plan accordingly. After clearing the room of enemies, you turn on the power and pick up the ammo disc, which can be found on the rack in the back. Upon leaving the room, you're confronted by Annette Birkin, who accuses you of murdering her husband and being in pursuit of the G-Virus.
You're looking for... You came for the G-Virus, didn't you?
Yes. She then asks Leon the whereabouts of that spy.
Now, where's that spy you were working with earlier?
She is referring to Ada. It is at this point that Annette explains to Leon that Ada was sent after her to retrieve the G-Virus for an agency that she's been working with. Ada began her infiltration into Umbrella when she began a relationship with her now deceased boyfriend, John. But now being in Raccoon City, she basically honeypotted our main character, Leon, into aiding her in getting the G-Virus from Annette in the underground lab. Leon, of course, is in full denial even after knowing Ada for only 2 hours. Like, I'm not lying to you, he knew Ada for 2 hours, at least in game time, and he's already put his full trust into her. After some more lore, Annette is about to finish our main protagonist, but not until the facility starts to shake. The magnitude ex machina was so great that this knocked down some pipes, incapacitating Annette.
Hell yeah.
Leon walks over to Annette and picks up the G-Virus sample from her. Guys, she died. The self-destruct sequence has been activated. It's time for the formulaic countdown escape sequence we all know and love from the Resident Evil series. But before we can proceed any further, Ada emerges from the doorway, pointing her gun at Leon, saying,
Waiting for you, Leon.
You have?
What are you doing?
You know what this is about, so just hand over the G-Virus.
At this moment, Leon realizes he's been honeypotted by Ada. Although being duped at gunpoint, Leon calls Ada's bluff. She puts down her gun. But then... Annette is still alive, just for long enough to say this. Ada, who is injured and is just hanging on with the help of Leon, tells him to basically move on without her. She lets go, falling to her demise.
Ada!
After grieving over his 2-hour love interest, Leon takes the G-Virus and throws it into the depths of the facility.
The fuck, dude?
Continuing Leon's journey through the west section of the laboratory, we make it to the door that requires the MO disc.
We out, baby.
We enter through the doorway, and this is when the 5-minute countdown starts.
5 minutes until detonation.
We begin the final battle with the 3rd G form. We begin the final battle with the 4-legged 4th G form. You know, even with the Magnum, this fight is pretty tough. With G just jumping around, running up to you at high speed and taking a huge chunk out of you, it was really difficult. Oh yeah, and the health pool went crazy with this boss fight.
I'm dead.
But with me being good at video games, we make do and defeat G. After defeating the monster, the elevator opens up and takes us down to the bottom platform. This is where Leon reunites with Claire. Well, almost. He needs to hurry up and get on that moving train. Leon makes it onto the train where he is actually finally reunited with Claire and now Sherry. Leon says it's over. Claire says, nah, we still need to find Chris. Leon then agrees. Leon brutally walks away to the front of the locomotive, says goodbye to Ada, and that's where Leon's story ends. Or so we thought. We still haven't done the true ending, or at least what I call the true ending, the Leon B scenario. No, we're not done. Resident Evil 2, just as Resident Evil 1, had another feature which you could play a different character. Last time, it was Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield. This time, it's Leon Claire Redfield. Except this time, if you beat the game with Claire Redfield, which I did so quickly, you can play a second scenario which features new content, enemies, areas, and what I still call the true ending. We start off on the other side of the chaos when Claire and Leon were separated by the now crashed runaway semi. Using my great speedrunning tactics, I make my way through the city and this time end up on the outer east side of the Raccoon City police station. We head up to the second floor of the outside and are put into a cutscene where an officer is waving for help from a descending helicopter. Not knowing of his surroundings, the officer is surrounded and attacked by zombies. While he's being eaten alive, the officer starts firing off rounds in the sky for the helicopter pilot to catch. This is the lure for the burning helicopter crash into the side of the police department. After that chaotic turn of events, we finally head inside on the second floor. Everything is generally the same concept. Find the 4 chess pieces. Most items found in Leon A is now put somewhere else in the police station, whether that be ammo, the shotgun, or key item in order to progress through the game. After some exploration, which included meeting Marvin again and getting the valve to douse the flames from the helicopter, I was in for a great surprise, which I knew about from the Resident Evil 2 remake, but I wasn't too sure if it was going to show up or not. What goes on here? There he is! Okay. I was wondering, I'm like, I know he's in this game. Well, it really wasn't a surprise. I just had horrible recall and was wondering where and when Mr. X would make his appearance. As we well know in Resident Evil 2 Remake, Mr. X shows up in all scenarios after the helicopter crashes and you progress past it. For the original, Mr. X shows up in the B scenarios for both Leon and Claire. Mr. X is very standard to deal with. You can either evade him and conserve ammo, but potentially get clotheslined for a good bit of damage, or you can use what you have and knock him out for the count. And yes, he can only get knocked until much further towards the end of the game, so he'll keep coming back. You will run into many sections of the scenario, fighting the monster in a narrow setting. Sometimes it's mandatory to fight him, so of course, stock up on reserves. Eventually, Leon goes into another room. This is where he comes across Sherry Birkin. She did not hesitate and just ran away. Leon then phones in Claire and notifies her what just happened. Continuing with the journey, we meet Ada again in the parking lot. Same lore about her boyfriend, same conversation with Ben, which leads us to switching our character to Ada. It's the same rigmarole as we jump to the other side to get the key for Leon, however this time Ada runs into Sherry. This is a new scene in the Leon B scenario. Here, after Sherry takes off, she drops a gold locket. Ada picks up said locket, opens it, and sees a Birkin family photo. This comes up again later. After getting the club key from Ada, we are back on Leon. We run back through the station, clear rooms of newly spawned enemies, and make our way to get the gear for the clock tower. Puzzle cleared. Panic run. No way. Grab the gear. Open the door. Now he's out here. Clear ourselves a path, pick up the ammo from the downed Mr. X, and continue up to the clock tower for the final chess piece. Oh wait, I messed up here. There's a crank, and I forgot it. But where is it? Oh wait, I know. The helicopter area is open. It was mentioned earlier in the scenario that Claire cleared the way of the helicopter with C4. So now with the access to the Chief of Police's office, we run through the office into the taxidermy tiger room, into the back room where we open the chest to find the crank. Now we can go back to the clock tower. But not until we're greeted by our favorite bioweapon. We handle him how we usually do, pop a few shotgun rounds and you're good to go. Okay, now Leon is in the clock tower. We use the crank and gear, we grab the final chess piece, and then we take our wicked cool shortcut down to the jail. Like clockwork. Ben screams for his life. Does she? Oh my. Yo, he just got cut down. This is different. This time, when he is attacked, he isn't forced to ingest the mini G. He this time gets cut down. The same conversation plays out with the chief of police being a co-conspirator with everything going on. Ada meets up with Leon. Ada takes off per usual. Leon gets a call from Claire, who is leaving and found a way through the sewers. Back to the pathway to the sewer, we go into the room with the chest piece locked door. Of course, the same boss battle, right? No, not this time. This time, Leon is confronted by William Birkin, his first form. Leon fights the lead pipe wielding G variant. After a couple shots from the Magnum, G falls into the abyss for now. Sewer section again. Leon and Ada meet up again and do the same run through in the sewers. Ada gets shot at by Annette. Leon does his "Get down, Mr. President!" Ada then takes off after Annette. But this time it's slightly different. When Ada and Annette have their dialogue about the G-Virus lore, originally, she tells the lore what happened to William, and the two got into a fight, and then she got slapped down in the garbage pit. This time, Annette spots Sherry's locket around Ada's neck. Ada explains that she picked it up after Sherry dropped it. Annette isn't buying it, becomes more aggroed. The two wrestle over the gun until Ada smacks Annette into the pit. Ada opens Sherry's locket, even further exposing a secret compartment inside the locket. It held the G-Virus sample. Ada climbs down to the pit where Annette and the alligator should be, but the scene fades to black. Now as Leon, we make our way to the garbage pit. I was prepared for the easiest boss battle that was to come, only to be met with not the alligator, nor Annette for that matter. It's just Ada, hanging out in the pit until you show up. She patches Leon up and says,
"That's two I owe you."
Again, this is important for later. The two make their way through the sewers until they get onto the suspended rail cap. One hand boss battle later, and we're making our way towards the underground facility, until we're stopped. Where the larger rail car was supposed to be, it wasn't. The platform is gone, and it's up to Leon and Ada to call it up. Exploring the area more, Leon takes a lift down into the security room. Leon grabs a key to power the platform and bring the cab up. Upon doing this, Leon turns on the cameras, and then... It's gonna hurt me. Oh my god. He's back. And he's down. Yuck, I came bad. We grab our shotgun ammo blessings from the X-God and make our way back to the control room. Leon and Ada call the platform and get into the rail car, and are again attacked by the Hand of G. Leon fends off the G Form 3. This time, after defeating G and the monster takes off, Leon heads back into the car to check on Ada. During the two sharing a moment, the platform stalls. This is where it gets a little bit different. Stuck with nowhere to go, Leon goes out and jumps through a ventilation system into a new area to see if he can get the platform moving again. Well, the platform starts to move again, and Leon is now stuck on a mid-level floor. Leon then continues through the new area, meeting the evolved Vickers, turning on the elevator power. Leon takes the elevator down to the ground floor into Umbrella's secret lab. Leon checks the rail car for Ada, but it appears that she isn't even there. No sense in just sitting around, Leon heads into the central room, gets the fuse case, turns on the power, gets the flamethrower, opens the door, and then we get to meet possibly the most annoying enemies I've dealt with in this game. The Poison Ivy. Not the standard Ivy, that had the same attack animations and annoying acid. This time, take those and mix it with poison. Through the end part of this playthrough, I had a fun time getting poisoned every 3 seconds by these plants. Certainly wasn't too difficult to deal with, just an inconvenience when you just heal yourself with a blue herb, but just to get poisoned again 2 rooms later. Thankfully, there's a pot of blue herbs in one of the dorm rooms where you can get a free use to cure the poison ailment. We do what we already did pretty much in the A scenario, except this time there's an awesome secret room that can be accessed with a thumbprint. Here, Leon finds the Uzi. We find the power room key and head back up to the mid-floor so we can access the power room. On our way, we run into Annette, who again accuses you of killing her husband. But before she could do away with you, Mr. X finds his way down to the secret facility. With him there, Annette runs away, and it's up to Leon to take the monster out again. By the way, quick note, we don't see Annette after this interaction. She probably died in Claire A scenario, so that just gives a reason why she's not here. Anyways, Continuing. We do away with him pretty quickly, head into the power room, then meet with him again pretty quickly again. Backed into a dead end, Ada appears out of nowhere to rescue Leon from Mr. X. Ada!
Run!
Ada!
You just stand there. X picks up Ada and tosses her into a control panel on the side. Oh shit! The master key! Oh yes, there it is, okay. Do the thumbs up. Whatever damage Ada did, it caused the monster to fall off the platform into a vat of molten whatever, Terminator style. Leon rushes to an even more injured Ada. They share dialogue. And Ada professes her love for Leon after knowing him for 3 hours. I'm probably 3 hours in. The couple share a kiss. She dies. Why did that made me fucking laugh? Oh, why? Why did that? There is no time to mourn. As the lab is set to self-destruct, Leon is contacted by Claire. Claire tells Leon that the little girl Sherry is in the waiting room in the facility. Leon makes his way to the waiting room where Sherry is. He picks her up. They go down to the elevator to the evacuation train. Leon drops off Sherry inside the train. It's time to go. Is what I would say, but of course we have to link up the power to power up the train. We exit the locomotive and begin our search. With a bit of running around, we find our plugins for the power. We make our way through the platform and then decide to go restore the power. Oh, there we go. The fun. Epic. Quick note, by the way, the music they used for the introduction of this final fight with the Tyrant was really epic. That's it. It's just very cool. Anyways, the final form of Mr. X resembles the final boss from the first Resident Evil game. He is fast, has a big claw, buff and tough, all the characteristics of a Giga Chad bioweapon. And man, was he a challenge. With some heals and considerable amounts of DPS from the upgraded Magnum, I was able to activate a scene where a mysterious figure...
Here, use this!
Whoa, who is that?
Ada, is that you? Ada!
Probably. Throws down the iconic rocket launcher. We pick it up, equip it, create some distance, and that's all she wrote. God, he's so cool. Beautiful. We turn on the power to the train, and it's time to go. Same cutscene plays out as the A scenario from Claire's point of view. The three are all reunited. Until... Whoa, what's going on? The train starts rocking. There's something wrong. Leon heads to the back of the train to see what is going on. Then in an instant, the train is beginning to be engulfed by G. The monster has reached its final form, and it wants to end you, right here, right now. With nowhere to go, Leon's only choice is to put everything into this thing. We unload a rocket into it. That didn't one-shot it. Okay, well, it's time to pull out the Magnum and pray. It's all about DPS or something? Oh, no. That worked. A high-speed action scene plays out. Get down there and fix this, Leon. The group is able to stop the train. They jump off and run out of the exploding tunnel. Leon, Claire, and Sherry make it out unscathed. G, along with the facility and Raccoon City, has been destroyed. What's next for our main cast?
Where?
Well,
Hey, it's up to us to take out Umbrella.
roll credits. Well, everyone, that was Leon A and B scenarios in the original Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation 1. Both I completed around the 3-hour mark with a C grade. I also unlocked some extra content after beating the game too, including Brad, which I thought he was missing because I did something wrong or because I played the DualShock version. That was just not the case, I just didn't know. With that all said, my time playing the original Resident Evil 2 was enjoyable. I just love the classic Resident Evil formula, the areas, controls, discovering new weapons, enemies, and items. In my opinion, this game still stands the test of time. And just like my favorite Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil 3, it's just as enjoyable for anyone to play through, not only for the nostalgia, but for those who want to experience it for the first time. That was Resident Evil 2, everyone. I still have Resident Evil 2 Remake, 4, and 6 to get through. So if you at all enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, tell your friends, comment what your thoughts of the video, and of course, thank you for watching. Hope to see you guys again soon. Bye-bye. I just can't mess it up. That's it. Just can't mess it up. Alright, Brad. This is who I really wanted to... There he is. Look at him. He ain't about it. Yo. Relax, Brad. Oh man, I'm about to die. I forgot he has double health. Yeah, make more distance. Oh god. I did it. He's been defeated. Oh, he's so evil. Special key. Okay.